Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, and you can watch all my videos. I like to talk a lot about personal development, how to be happier, how to be stronger. Today I want to talk a little bit about protecting ourselves. Especially as men, it's your duty to be able to protect yourselves and your family. As alpha males, you will have a role when the shit hits the fan. You have to run towards it. You have to run towards the violence. You can't be running away. You are going to be the one called upon to handle business when the shit goes down. And you got to be ready to rise to that battle. That's part of your role. You can look at animal packs like this, wolf packs. The alpha in the wolf pack may have the spoils of the top position being choice of women and such, but if an enemy invader comes in, everybody else in the pack is looking towards that motherfucker to protect, to go fight. That's you. Let's talk a little bit about weapons. I have a concealed weapons permit, and I've had it for maybe 15 years, 20 years, I don't know, for a long time. And I enjoy carrying a pistol. If people ask me why, I tell them it's none of your fucking business. Why? And that's my answer towards the gun debate. It's none of your business. You want to know why I have so many assault rifles? None of your fucking business. You want to know why I have ammo? None of your fucking business. I don't get into a Second Amendment conversation with anyone. Why? Because it's none of your fucking business, that's why. Shut your stupid fucking mouth. When the shit hits the fan, you'll be fucking thanking me that I'm packing. If we're trying to walk to the car at 2 a.m. from the bar and there's a bunch of dudes hanging out, guess who you're going to be looking at, right? Me. I hope you got your piece on you. Don't worry, I got it. If you carry a pistol, carry it loaded. An unloaded pistol doesn't mean shit. It's a paperweight. These motherfuckers that have their cargo pants and they got a magazine in one pocket and then their Glock on their hip, there's no point. The fuck, you think you have time to load it and to do your business? No. You want to be able to pull out and start firing. So an unloaded gun is useless. Never have an unloaded gun. Never explain yourself to anyone. Not anyone. Nobody has a right to know why you carry guns, why you own guns, or why you're into that. Fuck all this politics. If you're a political activist and you want to go around, making speeches and shit, that's up to you, but I don't engage in that. I don't give a fuck. Now let's get on. That's the gun talk. Let me say one more thing about guns. And some of you guys that are Second Amendment lovers aren't going to like this aspect of it. But when I got my concealed weapons permit, I took the class up there at the gun store up the street. And even though that gun store now up the street from me is owned by new people, it used to be owned by a cop. And I don't know what city he was, or it could have been Orlando, Jacksonville. I don't know what city he was a police officer in, but he had been a lifetime cop and then retired and then owned his own gun store for many years, family run. His wife and his kids also worked there. He used to run the concealed weapons permit class. And you got to take a class. So we're taking the class, and it's rather boring information. I know a lot about guns and all that stuff and about the law, so it's nothing new to me, but you got to take it to get that little card. At the end of the class, and it's, by the way, the class I took was full of men. Not a single woman there, unfortunately. I think women should be more engaged in gun ownership. But regardless of that, it's full of men. All beta males. All little weak, little punk bitch motherfuckers. Every one of them. Emasculated. Sorry looking. Little titties. No muscles. Weak men. That are all buying guns and want to carry it around for one reason only. And how do I know? How do I know the reason? Because they all sat in a question and answer period after the class, hounding this poor old man who used to be a cop, and he was just so frustrated with the questions. Because every single question was one of these little weak fucking titty motherfuckers. They have bodies like women, like fat women. Disgusting little fucking losers. And I come down on them because it's like, if you're supposed to be alpha, you want to be protecting, you want to get in this business of being a first responder, of running towards the battle, you better be doing some fucking push-ups too. You can't always have a fucking gun at your side. You better be able to handle your business. We used to handle shit with our dukes. If you couldn't fight when I was a kid, you were a pussy, period. I don't care about you picking up a stick, coming to the fight with a switchblade or a knife or whatever. If you couldn't throw your fist, you're a pussy, you're a bitch, period. And I still believe that. So before you going out and buy a gun, go do some fucking push-ups. Go learn how to box. Go learn kickboxing. Go learn some karate. Go get someone to teach you how to fight. Teach you how to throw a punch so you don't, when first time you get hit, you don't fall on the ground like a little bitch crying, screaming, running away. You can take a punch and throw one back. Learn how to fight. But these guys in the class all wanted to ask one question only. It was like 10 or 12 people, and they all just repeatedly kept asking these questions about what scenario would they be justified in shooting somebody? How can they get away with murder? That was the crux of the question. This guy who's an ex-cop who follows the law, who respects the law, who is a first responder for real with a badge, or at least he was, dedicated his life to it. He doesn't want a bunch of vigilantes going around there at gas stations shooting off gold teeth dreadlock motherfuckers because they don't like their rap music or whatever. Some bum who comes up to the car and says, please, can you spare a dime? And this little pussy bitch motherfucker starts unloading on him because he's scared. These scenarios happen here in Florida all the time. And it's usually by these little weak, little emasculated punk motherfuckers who are scared of everybody else around them. Get some confidence. Learn how to fight, and you won't be scared of everybody. Pisses me off. I sat there and just was like, man, listening to these questions from these fucking losers. One after another, and they're giving these hypothetical fantasy scenarios. Well, what if I'm walking around and it's 2 a.m. and I'm trying to, and this guy, his name was Max, and he was just like, well, don't be walking around at 2 a.m. in a bad neighborhood. What the fuck is wrong with you? The guy asking the question doesn't want to hear that. He's like, well, but what if I am? Well, don't. Well, and then what if 3 guys come up to me and they start pushing me around? We'll cross the street. And he was just like, Ned, let me tell you something. He stopped the questions. And he was like, look, let me tell you something. Everybody listen up. You want to kill somebody, and the cops come to the scene, and you just shot some motherfucker. I don't care if you're in your car. I don't care if you're in your house. You better have your own blood. You better at least have a fucking black eye. You better have something to show and say, look what they did to me. That's why I shot that motherfucker. If those cops show up and you look perfectly fine, there wasn't even a scuffle, you shot somebody from across the street. That was another one people wanted to know, is how close they have to be before you can open fire on them. The guy's like, what are you talking about? You can't start shooting people across the street. That's not a threat. Well, what if this? What if that? Shut the fuck up, guy. I felt so sorry for him. And it really taught me, these guys are all little scared bitch motherfuckers. They really are. It's sad. So be tougher. Be more confident. Learn how to fight. If you're going to get a gun, that's fine. It's your right. You don't have to explain to me or to nobody. Not to God, not to nobody why you have it. It's your right. But try not to be such a pussy about it. Try not to be so scared of your fellow man. Stop watching TV so much. Stop falling into this propaganda that everybody's out to get you. Not everybody's out to get you. Maybe if you're Chapo Guzman, and I doubt you are. But let me talk a little bit more about that, about your duty as an alpha male to protect. You have to be in shape, physically in shape. If you're fat and you're weak, you're skinny and you're weak, get stronger. Otherwise, you're a burden to others. You're a burden to the other alphas. I have a duty as a leader of the pack to protect everybody else around me, even the weakest. I don't mind protecting the weakest. But that's usually meant for the old, the sick, the women, and the children. If I got to protect another man, it bothers me. I get the same kind of feeling that when I see one of these homeless guys on the street who's got 2 arms and 2 legs, who's in better shape than me. I've seen some bums that are fucking ripped, in great shape, and you're like, goddamn. And they're sitting there begging on the goddamn corner. The fuck's wrong with you? Be a fucking man. Go out and find a way to survive other than begging and leeching off others and the beta male who expects others to protect them. You're going to wait for the cops to come. The cops aren't going to come in the middle of a battle. Even if you call them and say, they're in the house and they're going to kill me and my family, they'll come. The cops will come. As long as you don't live in one of these cities where they defund the cops. Good luck if you're in California or Portland or something. But here in Florida, the cops are coming. And they'll come hard. But they're going to come too late. It's your duty to be able to protect those around you. It gets to be a burden to others who have to always protect you. Don't be a burden on others, on society. A lot of it has to do with confidence. If you're in a home, I've been in home invasions. And if you're in a home invasion, if you're fast asleep, sometimes there's nothing you can do. I chased motherfuckers that were in my house outside with a pistol. I didn't chase them out with my muscles. I chased them out with a loaded 9mm pistol with 17 shots in it. Didn't have to fire off a single one because usually the sight of a gun and an angry white boy will send any motherfucking little scumbag running. So I'm not saying stay away from guns. Have guns. Everybody should have a goddamn gun just in case. Just in case the government goes crazy. Just in case the fucking cops go crazy. Just in case you need to survive in some way or another. Shoot a fucking bear or the King of England, whoever comes storming in your house. Yeah, you'd be able to pop them, but you have a duty also as an alpha male. Assuming that's what you want to be. Some people want to be betas. They want to be little weaklings. I don't. This whole channel is not for you if you want to be weak. I like to make people strong. And if you want to be strong, you have to be able to build yourself mentally and physically. I've seen some weak-ass motherfuckers mentally that are big, strong motherfuckers physically. Used to hang out with this guy, Dave. Won't say his last name. But he was 6'6". Usually people, when they get above 6'5", they start lying. And they all say they're 7 feet. He was 6'6" all day. If you'd see him in the bar, his head kicked back, he'd probably, and a few beers in him, he'd probably start mouthing off and say he was 7 feet. But Dave was a big, giant motherfucker, 300 and something pounds, in good shape, recruited for the UFC, covered head to toe, literally head to toe in tattoos. And this was back in the early 90s when people weren't rocking tattoos like that. Now you see little punk motherfuckers on TV, little skinny soy boys, little man buns all tattooed up. Back in the old days, there's only certain types of people that look like that. And Dave was hard as nails when it came to knowing how to fight. He was a karate master, literally. Black belt in several different things. Trained with the Gracies, trained with the Shamrocks. This was up in California. They have those schools up there, so he trained with them legitimately. And he in a competition, in that controlled, in the ring, he's a bad motherfucker. I lived in one of the worst ghettos in town. Mexican barrio. Gang members everywhere, all day, all night. They run in shifts. Mexican mafia running it all. There's probably 6,000 gang members just in my little block. Not in my block, but in my little neighborhood. And the neighborhood was only 6 blocks by 6 blocks. Each gang member has about 4 associates. So you're talking thousands of motherfuckers that are all criminals, all hard, all dangerous, all out to get you, right outside, right on the other side of the walls. Little old me, I wasn't scared of none of them. It's about confidence. It's about how you hold yourself. It's about being tough in the scenarios that you need to be tough, standing up to the people that need to be stood up to. But more so than action, it takes a certain level of warrior mentality, and I had that. Dave didn't. Dave had it in the ring. Can't take anything away from that guy when it comes to the ring. That steel cage, he was amazing at fighting. Out in the real world, it's a pussy. I got sick of him. I got tired of being around such a weak motherfucker. There was nothing I could do to get through to him because he had such a fucking pig head about his experience and his size. I'm such a big badass. But in the real world, this guy was as pussy as they come. Just an example of mental weakness. And that's 9 times out of the fucking 10 of the scenarios that you're going to be in is what it takes. So if you find yourself like that question in the fucking class of, what if I'm in a bad neighborhood at 3 in the morning? Well, what if you are? I mean, you shouldn't, like the leader of the class, Max, the ex-cop, like he said, well, you shouldn't be. Are you stupid? But if you are, it's about that mindset. Criminals usually, and especially muggers or people that are going to approach a random person on the street to fuck with you, they're looking for weakness. They're not going to go for somebody who looks like they're a warrior. It's not about size. It's about how you are inside. I'll end the video here. It's getting a little bit long, but one of the toughest guys I ever knew in my life, God rest his soul, he's dead now, Richie Mott. Fucking love Richie Mott. It makes me emotional even saying his name. He was a Philadelphia mobster. Real deal made guy, Sicilian mafia. 5 feet tall at his tallest. I would say maybe 4'11". Richie was a tiny little Sicilian motherfucker. He had been Golden Gloves boxer. He was as tough as nails. He was one of the toughest guys I ever met in my life. He could outdo that big motherfucker Dave in toughness, in mental strength. It had nothing to do with size. Richie was a shot caller, big baller, got respect. And it had nothing to do with his size. And it didn't have anything to do with him having a gun on him either. Most of the time, he didn't even carry a weapon. He had people for that. So, this is my talk on protection. Thanks for watching.